not just me doing this solo. Oh no, I am joined by the one, the only...
It's Cuddles!
It is Cuddles joining us to discuss all things 915. So let's get into this. Players who reach max renowned for their covenant will be able to freely switch among any of the 4 covenants without cooldown or restriction. Cosmetic rewards, including pets and mounts, that have been earned from that covenant will thereafter be available regardless of your membership in a different one. Covenant switching and the use of cosmetic rewards will also apply to any alternative characters once the renown threshold is reached on one character. Conduit energy is being removed, and conduits will be freely swappable without restriction. Completing a Covenant campaign on one character will allow alternative characters the ability to skip that same Covenant's campaign, earning the renown and a 3rd soulbind unlocked immediately without the need to replay the full narrative arc. Discuss!
Wow!
That's what we're talking about.
We're talking about WoW.
We are talking about WoW.
Okay, right,
yep.
Cool. Fantastic. We've all dragged and got up usually 1 for each covenant by now.
Yep.
I mean, a little more work, because what's this renown maximum? Do you reckon it's going to be 80?
Well, they're talking about, with regards to this, the 3rd soulbind and so on. That says to me that's the 40. So that's the Covenant storyline. And I think most of us have, as you say, 1 Covenant at 40. So, yeah.
Let me just get this right in my head.
Go for it.
So, I wish to swap my Shaman to a different Covenant. And because I've done that Covenant with a different character, I can jump up, or I have to redo it with that Shaman?
No, you're perfect. As long as 1 character has done it.
Yep.
Up to whatever point they set. At the moment we don't know, but PTR is going live soon, so we'll actually get definitive answers about all of this. But yeah, as long as you've done it once, boom, your character goes in, it'll get its 3rd soulbind, it's good to go.
Alt friendly.
Finally alt friendly.
Yes.
Because it feels to me, so far, we've had you level up your character, and that used to be it. That was the grind. You level up your character, and then you're kind of free to do whatever it was you wanted to do. But with Shadowlands, it has felt like, I'm going to level this character, be it by fates or by normal questing. And then, I know that's only half the battle, because I have to get all my renowns up, so I can get my soul findings up.
And I enjoyed that. Please don't get me wrong, I actually enjoyed that. It meant that I did all the storylines.
Oh yeah.
It's meant that I've looked at all of the conduits, I've looked at the bindings, and I've cared.
Yep.
For 12 months. But now I'm quite happy to go free reign.
Now it's the point where the ults that I really care about, the ones that I don't even really classify as ults, they're mains. They're characters that I'm going to jump out and play. There's only a handful of them. Those guys are done.
Yes.
I'm happy with them. But it means that the sea of ults that I have, I just don't want to play them. Now, I'm enthused to go and play them, especially, which we'll get to later on, like the new ways to level and stuff. I'm all down for that.
It gives you that choice to now, gives you a little bit more game content.
Yes. The last thing, personally, I'll say on this is that for all the people going, they pulled the ripcord, they've done it, this was always going to come. I remember me and you speaking about this when everybody was all the drama and everybody was hyping, oh, let's attack Blizzard because this conduit, the Covenant system's going to be awful. We said at the time, it makes a natural story progression that you'll join up with whatever your given Covenant is, build them back up, bring the Shadowlands together, and then it would actually make no sense for them not to do this, to not bring it so that we can swap Covenants freely, or in some way interact with all of them without them going, you're betraying us for them. No, we're bringing you all together. So it makes sense. So I'm fine with this. Whether it was going to happen now or 9.2, I don't know. But it makes sense in the story. I'm all good with it. One other thing to touch on is the conduit energy thing. That's one of those where I don't think, realistically, 90% of the player base cared.
I don't think 90% of the player base cared, but actually with the ability now to swap around, they will care.
Well, that's the thing. If you weren't going to swap, you weren't going to swap. Yeah. And to be fair, I don't swap because I have different characters that I do different things on. I have a healer, but it's completely separate. But for people that this affects, that's why it was a bad decision, conduit energy. For those that didn't care, it was never going to affect them. So they were never going to care whether that restriction was there or not. For those that like to swap around, they play all 3 or 4 other specs of their class, this is a nightmare.
And they should have had that ability to be able to swap around to do that if that's what they wanted to do, because it didn't impact anyone else that didn't want to swap around.
100%. But anyway, onwards and upwards, because we got a lot to get through. This is a good set of patch notes. New character customizations. A variety of new character customizations are being introduced for the Nightborn and the Lightforged Draenei, along with the additional updates to ear size options, apparently important for Void Elves, new travel form for Druids, and new soul shapes for Night Fae.
I'm intrigued about travel forms for Druids, and I'm intrigued about soul shapes. I do not care about the cows.
Now, we have done a video on this before, and I will say that the travel forms are your standard ones. So if you're like a High Mountain Tauren, you get the big moose. If you're a Tauren, you get like the stag. But now I think they're adding in the ability for all of them to be able to go cheetah form as a new travel form. So you can go cheetah and you can go doe. If you noticed, I swear this was a previously one you already had. If you were a female
I thought you
druid, you were a doe. But that now I think you're just a stag. But I think they're now reintroducing the doe, so anybody can go doe if they want. Which is fine. I'm all good with that. The customizations look amazing. As I say, we have spoken about them before, and certainly I could talk about customizations, but Cuddles doesn't care.
Soul shapes. What was the soul shape thing, or do we not know?
They've added in a couple new soul shapes. They've added in, I want to say, the shovel tusk.
Yep.
They've added in the Kodo.
Okay.
Which all my Taurens now need to get.
Yep.
And they've added in the mammoth, which I really want to get.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
Has it got an auction house in the back of it?
It does. No, it's just a ghosty mammoth.
Not an auction house.
It does not.
Mammoth soul shape.
No, we're still waiting for the 10 million gold or 999 million gold one that they're going to add in. So yeah. Next, it's one that you're interested in.
Dun dun dun!
Introducing Legion Time Walking.
I'm so excited.
But it's Time Walking with a twist. Delve back into the Legion dungeons with Legion Time Walking and take on the challenges within, including access to Legion Mythic Plus dungeons. This event will run for 2 weeks, the first time it runs within the game, and then will resume a regular 1-week schedule for subsequent bonus events.
Super excited. Love Legion dungeons. Love the idea of the added challenge of trying to do it on a Mythic Plus. Not sure what the reward content's going to be for that. Intrigued on that a little bit. And, I mean, my only sad thing, it's not there all the time. I think time walking should be there as an option all the time. We've got enough expansions to go back to now that they could just keep rotating it.
What about if they did, and this may be crazy and this may never work, because I know certain dungeons weren't designed for it, so you may need to go back and you may need to relook and rebuild things. But what about adding in maybe one dungeon from each expansion to the Mythic Plus roster?
That would be so cool.
Each month, and then you swap them in and out.
Yeah. Like Hearthstone does this, where it brings in event ones, but they stay for a month, and then the next month you get the next event, and I think that would be really super cool. Also,
it would freshen up, because obviously we've done the same dungeons now over and over again. You go, oh, we've got, I don't know, Ragefire Chasm, for argument's sake, is now... Now, granted, yeah, affixes could be a nightmare on some of these, because they were never designed around M+.
It's an Asian thing. It's not something that has to all come out at the same time. And I think that some of them, they could start by going back to BFA. They could bring in a Desal. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yep. So they could bring in one of those, which are already built for that.
For M+, yeah.
So they've already got, going backwards, they've got BFA, they've got Legion set up. Wouldn't take much to transfer the WoD ones across, I imagine. And then they can take a longer period of time for maybe bringing in one or two of the others.
Yeah.
From before then.
The biggest issue is obviously trash size and room shapes.
Yeah.
Because you have to allow for things like volcanic, quaking, which Waycrest Manor is perfect. Like that was such a nightmare corridor. If you're quaking that week, God, no thank you. Or sanguine.
That's all part of the challenge.
100%.
And I think that could just be... People are desperate for variety in content.
Yeah.
That is something that is a real simplistic idea and could be really good fun.
Oh, yeah. And the easy way around it is that, look, we know as a design mentality, or, Blizzard know as a design mentality, that's just not going to work with these affixes, so we won't have it that week.
The Cat of Dungeons.
Oh, there's loads of them. Shadowfang Keep immediately is like one of my favourite dungeons of all time. I'd love to go back to that in a Mythic Plus setting. Yeah, I'm intrigued to see it.
We're gonna die a lot.
We're gonna die so much. Next up, the more introduction now finally being skippable. This
excuse me. All my ults are through.
Yeah.
What a waste of blooming life.
I have 12 or 13, maybe 15 through. I have another goodness
so
to go.
you never have to go and help Thrall find his weapon again.
I don't. But I will say we did the tower thing challenge, twisting corridors. So we have the mount. Actually makes it a lot easier. We defend Blizzard a lot, which is fine, and we try and call them out if things are bad. This should have been done straight away.
You should have brought one character through, and then it's up to you.
Yeah, if you want to go and do it again, fine. But if not, you should have the ability to skip it. Why it wasn't just there straight away, I don't know. That's a complete blunder.
I'd say that's a COVID thing.
9.1 seems very light on the filler content.
That's because where they would normally have been creating 9.1 before launch, they were still creating the game.
Oh yeah, I mean, we all know
Yeah.
big thing Shadowlands being delayed. And that's why you can feel it. There's big things, and there's things that wouldn't necessarily be in the game until 9.2. Flying.
BFA, I am pretty sure that intro quest line was skippable after your first one. I think I only ever did it once, where you had to go to the battle with
I want to say it was a later patch, because I would have skipped it straight away, and I know I had to do it on several characters.
Maybe I only brought one through.
You were far smarter than me then.
Yeah.
Islands!
Again, I like the fact they're revisiting old content that we've all enjoyed and endured. That's 2 words there. And they're bringing it back for purpose, because it is fit for purpose and it's fun.
Oh, I will say this now. One of my biggest gripes was when they changed it for leveling. When you were leveling up in BFA, I used to do islands all the time. It was fantastic.
I loved it now.
Then they changed it and said, nope, you can't level up the islands anymore. It was soul destroying. You had to have like a whole party. You couldn't. I hated it.
So now you can go solo.
Yep.
Or 2.
Or flex. So they've done it so that basically all it needs is between 1 and 3 players, and that's it.
That's perfect.
It's an awesome change. Talents and ability improvements. In 9.1.5, we are working on additional updates of a variety of class talents and class abilities, including conduits, RUNECARVING, and Covenant class ability tuning. Now, that's the text from the Blizzard World of Warcraft website. If you look at the image they actually posted up, they said, I think it was something like class and ability buffing. So what I'm hoping this means is they are not going to, as much as I get triggered by Ashen Hollow, just bring everything up.
Yes.
I don't care.
Take anything down,
don't
bring it
nerf
up.
everything to the ground. Bring all the other stuff up. Ashen Hollow's fun. It's crazy, stupid fun, and yes, it's frustrating when you're running around as a DPS and your healer is topping.
But that's like in an upper echelon environment as well. And you know what? In the level that we run at, that's just hysterical.
I'm fine. I'm fine with it.
No problem with that.
That says to me, if you think Ashen Hollow, as in if Blizzard believe Ashen Hollow is in a good place, and they don't want to nerf it into the ground, they've tweaked it, but they don't want to nerf it into the ground, then bring everything else up.
Yes.
That's fine. I have no problem with that. So yeah, I am hoping that they look at classes where numbers might be fine, but stuff's just not fun. I mean, a great example is I played, I'm starting to level up my enhancement shaman, and I'm going Night Fae. And I'm playing with the Night Fae Infusion thing, whatever it is it's called. And it is so much fun, and it's so good as an ability. You play...
I made my shaman as an elemental shaman.
Yep.
However, my shaman, she's always wanted to be a vampire. It's her backstory.
Of course.
So she is Venthyr. Now, the Venthyr ability is boring and does nothing. And, okay, so I'm helpful to my group now and again, but actually, what the other Covenant abilities do always outshines it, even in regards to healing or damage. So, just some tweaks to make things maybe a little bit more individual, unique, usable.
Shaman is a really good example, because you've got the Fae Transfusion one, which is very, very good. Vesper Totem was touted as being god tier for a while.
And that's nerf it to the ground.
Then you've got, apologies, I don't know, the Necrotic Wave one, where it puts like Flame Shock or Riptide on everything, depending on what you are, is great. And then you have Venthir, which is hit a load of stuff with basically a red chain lightning, and it will heal people as well.
Yeah, sometimes.
Are you having fun
Harvest,
yet? That's
called.
it, Chain Harvest.
And it's just a bit...
But even if the numbers were... let's say, for argument's sake, the numbers were fine, were exactly the same across all of them, it's just not fun. It's not... Yeah, and that's a real shame.
All I'm doing is basically putting out a chain heal that's red.
It doesn't dynamically change your gameplay or interact with other abilities in a
I
cool
don't turn into a raging vampire and suck blood from people, which is what I imagined with Chain Harvest was going to be.
You go into like a swarm of bats or something. Yeah. Just something cool. And that's the problem, I think, with a lot of these abilities, is they're just not.
You do have the best other Covenant movement ability.
It is good, I will say that. But yeah, so hopefully, as I say, they are buffs and balancing and tuning and fun stuff.
And in truth, they'll go wrong because, like, the meme is we all know Blizzard can't balance anything.
Oh, for the love of God, please don't go Corruption 2.0.
Do you know what?
I'll do that again.
I think at some point we all just have to accept that that is a thing. It's actually a charm of this game. They just can't balance everything. You can't
balance games like this. It's never
just
been...
don't nerf the Shamans again.
Don't nerf Shamans. But if you want to give some tank buffs, you know, so we can actually face tanks and stuff, that would be lovely.
Uncap AoE!
Onwards! Allied race unlocks. Allied races such as the Corterium, the Mechanomes, the Dark Iron Dwarves, or the Alliance ones.
Yeah, I was going to say it's the Alliance one.
Which had a dungeon requirement to unlock them, will no longer need to complete the associated quests to gain access to those races. Players will be able to skip it instead.
Okay, that's cool, because that means I can go and unlock a load of those ones that I'll never use.
Yeah, I think I've done Mechanomes and I've done Coltier and I haven't got Dark Iron Dwarfs yet.
Yeah,
so.
I watched you do it one day and fell asleep because it was all alliance-y sort of stuff.
I know, it's very pretty though. Running around Stormwind and stuff looks lovely.
I don't like the Mechanomes.
Well, we're not allowed to like gnomes in our guild, full stop.
Yeah,
we have a guildie who is very anti-gnome, so there we go. We shall quickly skip over that. Additional travel points in the Moor! Let's talk about that. So players will be able to take advantage of additional fast travel options from Vanara's Refuge to Perdition's Hold and Desmortio within the Moor by unlocking access to them.
That's the raid, right?
No, it is not.
So we've still got to get to the world boss and the raid by mullering ourselves.
Yeah, so obviously Perdition Hold is where I believe the Necrolords have their current assault.
Yeah.
So we will get a fast travel point to them.
But we can ride a little thingy to get there.
Well, also, it's literally 2 seconds outside.
Yeah.
Just go down the road, hang a left, and you're fine.
So the fast travel to the raid, is that not there yet?
No. Desmortio is basically the Beast Warrens. So when you've left Venari's little hovel and you've ridden over the bridge,
I know whether yes.
and you're halfway towards the world boss that lags everybody out and destroys the entire zone. About halfway up.
Do you think it's because they can't get a load point in that area because it would just keep failing and sending you back to Venari's Refuge?
Remote anima turn-ins. Completing quests from Roshur will provide access to an anima diverter within Korthia, where anima can be directly deposited. That is huge.
Well, it is for you lot, but if you're shaman, we don't care. We've got 2 hearthstones.
Yeah, but you have to then get back to Korthia.
And I now just teleport through to Orbis and drop down a hole and ta-da!
This is a really good change. Just being able to... Because the problem is, if you're in Korthia farming a lot, you gain generally two currencies. You get the relics, or the research, and that's fine, because you can go to the cave, and you can go, there you go, mate, there's all your stuff, have fun. The other lot is you just get so much anima now.
Why do you go back to your Covenant Hall then? For what purpose would you return to your Covenant?
Your table's still there, your Soulbind and Conduit depository is still there, which you're going to need to go and use. There's...
When do you go and say hello to the little dredger that takes all your anima? He's going to be very upset with you.
Oh, he doesn't mind. He gets to go and have a party. If you happen to be a Venter, you can go and join the party. He's not there constantly having to stuff anima into some giant vat.
Okay.
He can go and live the life he's always wanted.
I think that's just like an ease of life thing.
Oh yeah, well, but it just fills your bags up and it's so annoying. Next up, transmogrification linking. Show off your complete transmog outfit to chat or online by easily sharing a link to it from the dressing room. Players will be able to mouse over these items to see how they were collected, if they've already collected the appearance, or if it's an appearance that is accessible to the character viewing it.
Does this mean we'll need less discussion for 45 minutes about where one single item came from in somebody's transmog?
It should do, but it will not. We have a guild that loves transmogging.
Apart from me.
Apart from you. You're the only one that doesn't like transmogging, so no. What it now means is you're going to see guild chat filled with link spam, and you won't care about clicking on them at all.
I can filter that out. I'm sure I can. There's got to be a filter.
No, this is...
You lot love this. You lot will absolutely love this.
This is great, and I'm intrigued to see how far this can go. So, whether this is just... These are sets that are pre-done. So, I have the full set from Nighthold on my DK. Do I just click that, link it to others, and they can see where it come from? Is it going to mean that I can... My own custom transmogs that I've created, link those, people can then click on that link, see it, then save that to their own one, so that they can then go about collecting it. How far can we go with this? Does it mean, because it does say online, which I'm really hopeful for, is that you could go on Facebook, or go on Reddit, or wherever, post up a picture of your character, post up a link, so then somebody can then click that link, or save the, the string, or whatever it may be, put it into WoW, and it automatically saves that to their dressing room. So they've no, but it looks like they're updating those. Oh. So having the option to have more transmogs, yes, all for this, but let's skip because you're going to get boring. How about alt leveling improvements?
Whoop,
Interested?
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah, you have a lot of alts, but they all look like a variety of improvements. I'm waiting to be hit.
No, okay. I have so little care about it.
A variety of improvements will be introduced to support a smoother experience leveling alternative characters through Shadowlands, such as an additional rank of heirloom upgrades. LARP. That would be good if they were still the old school heirlooms. An improvement to Threads of Fate, such as the addition of Torghast as an option, and renown gains for completing bonus objectives.
I think that is fantastic. I think it's needed. I think that the idea of doing Torghast whilst leveling is just such a giggle. Again, I understand that's something because we do it as a group, so that makes it fun. But I think even if you're just, you're doing Fates, you're bimbling around, you're doing the bonus objectives, your mates come on, you can do some Torghast, you do a dungeon or two. It offers way more variety within that Fates leveling experience, and all of it you're getting experience for, and it sounds like you're building up renown as well, so when you reach that level...
Well, we'll see that when 915 comes out. That's exactly how that's going to work. But for me, it's the same as Endgame should be. It's just... I want an all-you-can-eat buffet. You can then choose how you want to go about achieving it. So... Don't force me to do Torghast. Don't force me to level via Fates. Don't force me to just do dungeon spamming. Or PvP, whatever it may be. But let me have that option to do all those things. I might want to put war mode on. Go out there and have some fun. I might want to do some dungeons because my friends are on, or I just fancy getting some dungeons done. I might want to just kick back, put some music, some Netflix, some YouTube on, and just do some leveling. Fishing while I'm doing it, whatever it may be. And then finally, my friends are on, we're going to do some Torghast because we've all got some alts. That's brilliant. That's how the game should be from start to finish. End game should be the same. I have all these activities I can do. So for instance, a great example would be forcing people to do Torghast. Because people want to do things like PvP, or they want to raid, or they want to do M+. Saying to them you have to do Torghast to get your Soul Ash is not a great way to go about it. But Torghast is great, but it should be an option for people who want to do it.
It should be more of a cosmetic thing. And you should also, in Torghast, get your Renown, get your Soul Ash, and get your Soul Cinders. But you should also get Renown and Soul Ash and Soul Cinders from PvP, from doing M+ dungeons, from raiding, from whatever your end game choice of content is.
Actively playing the game. 100%, I agree with that. Yes. You can, if you want to say to people, look, here's Torghast, we want you to experience it, that's fine. You already did that because we had to do Torghast
to get the rune
to rescue Anduin, to rescue Bane. We had to do all of that. So
I mean,
people...
did we really have to rescue Bane again?
Bane has to sit by that pillar. Why is Bane not trying to look for his father?
Why do we have to rescue him in the first place?
We always have to rescue Bane. Every expansion now, we have
Yeah.
to rescue Bane. At least
We've
once.
got to watch Thrall do something with a weapon, either throw it away or find one,
Yep.
and we have to rescue Bane.
Yeah, that's it. Next up, we have one that we're going to skip over very quickly, I would imagine. PvP gear power adjustments. Lower item level PvP gear will now scale to a higher item level in PvP situations than before. This should reduce the power level gap so that new characters can feel that they're able to compete in battlegrounds and arenas more readily. This change will not affect high item level PvP gear.
Okay.
Yes, so I'm all for that. Anything that gives people, again, that all-you-can-eat buffet, gives them a chance to go in and experience something and be at least a little closer. There's always going to be a disparity, fine, but at least they're going to be a little bit closer. Next up, rune carving recipes. Drop rates for rune carving recipes will be increased by 100% drop rate in any dungeon difficulty.
So that just means that, like, your thing drops from the other side on the last boss. Now, whether you run it on normal, heroic, mythic, 0, or any level of mythic plus, it's going to drop.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's what it means. Look, by this point, it's just going to be a guaranteed drop now.
To be honest, we've got most of those.
Yeah, but if you're a new player or somebody that's coming back...
Or a new character, so you've brought up a new character, you need to gather them. That actually is a very alt-friendly thing.
Last of all, speaking of picking things up, Battle for Azeroth Legacy Loot Rules. Legacy loot rules will be enabled for players at level 60 in all Battle for Azeroth raids and dungeons, causing encounters to drop the number of items as they would randomly drop for a 5-player dungeon party or a 20-player raid.
What does that mean?
Good example would be, if you remember, we went and did, I want to say Nighthold or something.
Mm-hmm.
When it was, we just moved past it.
Mm-hmm.
We went and did Nighthold and you got very little loot.
Yeah.
Because it scales it way down to like hardly any players are in there.
Mm-hmm.
The minimum amount. But you'll go and do something like High Mall or Blackrock Foundry and your bags are getting filled with loot.
Mm-hmm.
Transmogs. The reason for that is because that's set on legacy loot.
Alright, that makes sense.
Again, if you went
So
to...
you weird transmog people are going to be able to go and get all your BFA transmogs.
Yes.
So that's that summed up in one statement.
Yes. The also benefit is, now if you are farming for the mounts in BFA, more items are going to drop for you, so you can actually gain a little bit more money and things like that while attempting to try and get drops.
Oh, that's an interesting thought.
Yes, as I know you particularly want the parrot.
I do still
Yes.
want the freehold. Is it freehold parrot?
It is.
I want the red one.
Yes. Because the island one is available now as well, the green one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. But that's roughly it. There's more to come. PTR is coming very soon. That is though what we've got on the Blizzard website right now. I think it's safe to say this is the give the people what they want patch.
Oh, definitely.
But what's your take on it? What do you think?
I think it's very positive. I think that they've listened. They're delivering. I think there's entertainment in there. I think one of the main things underneath everything, what everybody's been going on about, has been that there isn't anything to do once people have reached endgame, where they feel that they've been kind of pushed out of M+ due to fear of not wanting to do dungeons, where raiding now, it's a very tiered system that you have to work your way up. You need a big guild to be part of it, then within that guild be doing something. So I think that it's given people more stuff to do endgame content, which is fantastic. It's given people the opportunity to do ults. A lot of people, that is their game. You know, a lot of people, the end game, traditional content, isn't their end game. Alt leveling is. And I think it's given them the opportunity to do that. So I think it's fantastic. I think there's some really good stuff in there. There's some really boring transmog stuff in there. Far too much of that. And I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a nice drop. I'm looking forward to you going through PTR and showing me all the shiny things.
Yeah. For me, make all 0.5 patches like this. Listen to the players. Balance that with what they want, with what Blizzard want as well. Listen to the players that are still playing your game, about the things that they like, things that they want to see, things that just aren't clicking with them, and go, okay, then we can do something with this, we can do something with that. No, that's not something we can do something with. Maybe we'll look at that in the future. And then come together with a patch like this where you...
This patch feels like it's designed for people that actually play the game.
Yeah, 100%.
Not people that maybe play for 4 weeks to do a raid, and then the rest of the time they tootle off doing other bits and pieces. Not people that actually play on the tournament realm for their preferred game.
Yep.
Because actually the end game, that is what their end game is. This is actually for people that bread and butter log on a Saturday and a Sunday morning, play their game, they just want to work through everything. They might want to play a few of their other characters that they've played before, and that I like.
Yeah, there's very little in here. I mean, obviously the Covenant swapping is the biggest one. Conduit yeah, it will be. Conduit Energy is the second one. And then I'm trying to think what else in here realistically is...
Well, they're really, really into transmogging, aren't they?
Oh, well, some of them are. Everybody that's got the flappy fish weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just top tier. You're done.
But you lot will tell me that the better transmog means my DPS is higher.
100%. It
That's the only reason I buy sets.
30 or 40% more DPS.
Yeah.
So in terms of what's actually here,
Lots.
there's a ton here, but yeah, not a lot of it is for very top end players. It's not for the elite of the elite. It's, as you said, it's players that just want to play the game. They just want to jump on an ult and just
have fun.
Go and do whatever it is you want to do. Oh, I'm going to level a little bit in Torghast. No, I'm logging off of that. I'm going to go and do this old dungeon. Oh, I'm done with that. I'm going to jump on another ult and I'm going to go do some islands. I'm going to go on my mage because I love doing islands on my mage. Okay, I've done that. Oh, now I'm going to go and jump into a BFA dungeon and I'm going to go and do this. I
cannot wait to take my Windwalker into islands.
And that's it'd be fantastic, but that's what it feels like. This is a patch for players.
Yes.
And 100% make 0.5 patches for players.
Yep.
So we get sort of the content that we've been asking for, the tweaks we've been asking for, and then make your big drops the Blizzard patches. They're the ones of their vision. That's what they want to give us. And that blend would be brilliant.
Speaking of players, there is only one thing missing from this whole thing. Still no word on a pet battle dungeon. We do have some pet battling pals, and I think that is something that they seem to feel is very much missing.
Yeah, they would love another pet battle dungeon or a pet battle raid or something. Hold tight, we will be getting to you guys, but we want to get all of this sorted first.
Could you imagine like a Night Fae pet battle dungeon?
Why not have Covenant pet battle dungeony stuff? I don't know. There's loads. There's so many things. Here's a crazy one. Why don't you have the other side pet battle dungeon?
That would be scary. I might actually
Bromsundi's pet battle dungeon.
If not, I'd certainly watch someone doing it on YouTube.
Bromsundi's pet battle dungeon.
Yeah.
And it's different pets or different creatures that we've killed over the course of WoW are there.
That would be epic.
That would be absolutely fantastic.
My apologies.
That's absolutely fine. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to jumping on the PTR and trying some of this out. 915 looks like a good one.
Yes.
So it looks like a good signal of intent.
Busy times.
Oh yes, very much so. But that is enough from us. Thank you for watching, everyone. Stay safe. We'll catch you all in the next video.